Hey guys, welcome back to another ThrillStop video here. So, you're actually seeing me in this one. Hi. Most of you probably know what I look like. I'm not the best looking, but here I am. So, I wanted to take another video here to talk a little more about what I'm doing. We're in the winter months. There's about 8 inches of snow out there, so there's not really a whole lot I can be doing right now. So, the content ain't going to be the greatest for the next couple months. I know I'm trying to get new videos out. I'm still going to work on some videos from stuff I recorded last year, get a couple of those out, but a lot of it ain't that great, so it's going to be difficult. But actually, what the next part of this video is going to be is a new episode of my podcast. So, I did a thing, and I'm kind of still doing it from 2020, well, it was late 2023, and I did it for a little while, a podcast for a little coaster club I created called the Coaster Enthusiast Society. The Coaster Enthusiast Society didn't really work out. We've been trying to work on it, but it's been difficult. So I think I'm going to kind of move on from that and make the podcast more about ThrillStop. So in the next couple seconds here, the video is going to transition into the first episode of my podcast. You're going to still see me, but you're going to be hearing, you're also going to be hearing me, but the audio should be a little better, I'm hoping. But anyway, here is going to be the next episode of me coming back to my podcast. Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of the formerly Coaster Enthusiast Society Podcast, now the ThrillStop Podcast. I am your host, Colton, and this is a new chapter of the podcast here. So we did about 5 episodes of the podcast under the Coaster Enthusiast Society name, which they did really well, and I'm thankful for everyone who's listened. But from now on, I'm deciding to take the podcast a little bit my own personal direction, to talk about some of my own personal adventures, but also bring on some special guests here and there, which we got a couple coming on the way. I'm really excited for the people I've gotten to come on my podcast here soon. So, and also now you get to see my face. You get to see on YouTube. You'll get to see my end. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Google or YouTube Podcast, whatever it's called now, I'm not sure if we're on Spotify or not yet. I forget. But if you're listening to me and you want to watch me and my potential future other guests come on, then you will have to go to the YouTube for that, which is my channel, ThrillStop. So, if you don't really know much about myself, I am Coaster Colton on Instagram. Well, now ThrillStop. I've been a coaster enthusiast since 2017. I didn't really go hardcore with it till about 2022. In 2022, I became an ACE member. ACE is the American Coaster Enthusiast, which is the world's largest group of coaster enthusiasts, and it is a great group. I love being a member. I actually just renewed my membership, even though it didn't expire till March. But I always love getting in there new around Christmas time, and so I have 62 coasters under my belt, which I know is not a big number. The goal for this year is to get to 100, which is looking very doable. And those stories will be coming on my podcast, and also those vlogs will be coming to my channel in the summer months. So I'm very excited for that. My first coaster trip isn't till June as of current, but there will be some before that. I'm sure I'll probably get to Kennywood in April, May, and then when that new mountain coaster opens at Massanutten Resort, that'll also be in probably March, April. So those vlogs, and I'll talk about that on the podcast too, that'll be coming sooner than later. Of course, most of our country, the United States, is under a lot of snow and Arctic blast, so there's not really a whole lot of coaster riding going on right now, which is sad, but hopefully before too long, things start warming up. We'll get more towards summer, spring, and we'll be getting on some coasters. So, the only thing I really want to talk about else in this podcast episode, I know it's going to be a quick one. I do want to talk about my Kings Island experience, because I never got to talk about that on my podcast yet, and that was a really fun day. So I got to the park a little after opening. I know a lot of times people are like, will get there at opening to get on the rides. I didn't get there till after opening. I kind of took the morning to chill out because I had seen a concert the night before. The concert was Santana at the Riverbend Music Center, which, by the way, if anyone ever wants to go to a concert and they're in the Ohio area, the Riverbend amphitheater down there near downtown Cincinnati, and actually in the old Coney Island amusement park area, they actually kind of share like a parking lot. I think the water park actually just closed not long ago. That's a really great place to go watch a concert. The staff are super friendly. Nice venue area, real easy parking and walking. Traffic is pretty easy to get around, so really nice place. I've seen Santana and Counting Crows there. Really good shows. Santana put on a really good show. Carlos Santana is still an amazing guitarist. But the next day, which was another reason why we was in the area, to go to Kings Island. So we get to the park and the skyline is absolutely great. I mean, you see in Vertigo as you pull up, you can see Orion and Diamondback in towards the back. As you get closer, you can start to see Racer and even a little bit of the Beast if you look close enough. So once we got in, the first ride I did, I believe, was back. No, was Racer. I did Racer first. I did both sides of Racer to begin with, which Racer's a very fun Woody. 1972 PTC coaster. I believe it was a John Allen design, but no, really good ride. Actually, both of the rides, technically two coasters, are really fun. Then I got on Backlot Stunt Coaster, which I have done the one at King's Dominion. It's been a couple years though. I would say King's Island is definitely better. The theming, the effects worked better. I don't know. King's Dominion's probably fixed theirs by now, but in 2021, no, yeah, in 2021 when I went, those effects weren't working too well. But it's the exact same ride, so the ride isn't much different. But I'd say Kings Island is the better one, except I think King's Dominions is set better in their park than Kings Islands. Kings Islands is kind of like right in the middle, and it's just kind of not really much around it. Of course, it used to be next to Vortex, but with no Vortex there, that part of the park definitely does feel like it's missing something. I can definitely feel that missing piece of Kings Island. That's like really the only thing I have to complain about Kings Island is since they removed Vortex, that part of the park where Backlot Stunt Coaster is, which is kind of in between like Coney Mall and Rivertown, I believe. That part where Vortex is definitely just a big hole. I mean, it's great because you can see the beast, but something needs to go there. They need to put in a new area or a new coaster or something there would be absolutely great because that is definitely a big gap in the park's space. But other than that, the park is really good about having attractions about everywhere to go. So it's not too compact, but it's nice. It's nice and it's laid out great. Then after that, I think I tried doing Adventure Express, but then Adventure Express was actually closed for a little bit during my day. So I ended up going back towards the Beast and Mystic Timbers over that way. Um, and Mystic Timbers is a great ride, a great GCI. It was the second well, technically third GCI I've done, and it was a fantastic ride. That first drop is absolutely breathtaking, and then those hills is just one after another. That ride's pacing is something else. But of course, like everyone says, the shed is disappointing, especially whenever the park was stacking kind of odd that day. So there's actually a little bit of a wait to get into the shed, and then you kind of sat in the shed for a little while longer than you probably should be before making your way back into the station. And after that, end up going to the Beast. The Beast was my favorite coaster at the park. The Beast is insane. I know a lot of people's like, well, it doesn't really do much, but just that speed going through the forest like that is absolutely incredible. And then that Rose Bowl helix at the end, that double helix, is insanity. I mean, you're pulling forces around that turn, and with minimal banking, even after the modifications that have been done, I couldn't even imagine what that was like in 1979 when that thing first opened with like no banking. That would have been crazy, and the ride's still crazy. And the Beast team was on it that day. It was a busy Saturday in June, yeah, late June, so right before the holiday of the 4th of July, and the Beast team was on it. And we was getting the rides where once you're heading back to the station, the other train's dropping off the lift. I mean, they were pulling that off perfectly. So that was that was great. After that, I forgot what else we did, but I know we ended up going towards Planet Snoopy. I did the brand new Snoopy Soapbox Racer. Really fun family coaster. It's pretty short, but it's meant to be. I'm kind of surprised a park like Kings Island would go for a smaller, compact model like that. I mean, it fits in that space great, but I feel like that they should have gone for something a little bit more. We've seen like Big Bear Mountain and how like a big family coaster like that can work wonders for a park of that size. I feel like Kings Island probably could have went for something bigger. And it's odd, these bigger parks are pulling this Vekoma family boomerang out. And it's like that ride is supposed to be for smaller parks. So seeing those going to bigger parks to me is still odd. Like I think Good Gravy works great at Holiday World, but like Soapbox Racers at Kings Island is definitely an odd fit for me. Like it works, and it's kind of like a step down from Vertigo, which was closed for my visit. But I just, I don't know. I think that ride could have. I think Kings Island could have picked a better attraction for a family coaster. Woodstock's Air Rail was just as bad as I thought it was going to be. That thing was a headbanger, and I'm a taller guy, so like getting headbanging on for a taller guy, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Um, but the biggest shocker of the trip to me was the bat. I do gotta say, the bat was the biggest surprise of the trip. Um, that ride it's so far back out of the way. Like the only time I could feel like that ride actually like really worked out, if like regular guests going out through there on the pathway. Sorry for rubbing my nose there. Was when Son of Beast was open. Because Son of Beast was also back that way in Action Zone, which Action Zone is definitely it feels bare. Like Action Zone feels bare for what it is. Like it's a lot of outdated attractions. I mean, like Banshee is the only really major newer attraction in that area. I think something needs to happen over there. Action Zone at least needs a revamp of some kind. But the bat was really good. But it's a really long walk back there. So once you actually got on the bat, if you didn't want to do it again, you had to walk clear back out. I only did it one time. That's because my day was running short by that point. So having to walk clear back out of there was just like, man, like I don't know how that ride gets much ridership because it's so far back there. I guess people just know it's there. It's just a popular attraction. So people go back to it. I really hope they do something with that Son of Beast plot because if they do something with that Son of Beast plot, then that'll make the Bat more popular. Or I don't think King Island will do a retheme of the Bat, but if the Bat would get like a retheme of some kind, like they did with Adventure Express, which is also a good ride, fun ride, then I think that ride would do so much better. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be about the end of this episode of the podcast. I just kind of want to come on and say that we're back. We're back on, and get me a YouTube video as well. So if you haven't listened to any of the other episodes of the podcast, you can go. If you're listening, you can go through the other episodes. If you're on YouTube, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, pretty much wherever you can get your podcast, and you can go and find the rest of the episodes. This is about it from me. I hope to have another episode out soon. I know I said that last time, and it's been like almost a year, but I promise I'm going to get a new episode out as soon as I possibly can. And for now, I will see you at the next episode. Or if you're watching me on YouTube, I'll see you on the next video. Uh, Subscribe if you'd like. Subscribe to the podcast. And yeah, keep on riding coasters, and I will talk to you next time.